Bernard Owusu Danquah, and he is a lead project engineer at UCG and also a project facilitator. He also facilitates a lot of programs and trainings. With a round of applause, let's welcome him.
Thank you. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. And I must admit, I'm very impressed with the numbers here for this particular session. I've been told by the organizers that we don't have enough time because we have to move to the plenary session for the other speakers. So I'm trying to be quick, but I hope that by the time I deliver this presentation, at least some of you are seeing the highlighted red and blue sheets. At least you understand what it means. We all know about disruptions that is going on in our environment. At least you can better look at our environment, business environment, and see where we are as an organization. So the outlines, I'm going to do a few definitions. I'll give you the model of disruption as propounded by Clayton Christensen, the one who propounded the theory of disruption, business disruption. Then we look at the red wishes. Then we look at the changing role of the project manager. Today we've listened to a lot of presentations about how the role of project manager is changing the business environment. We look at that. And we see the issue of the blue ocean strategies that I'm just looking about. So disruption. All across as you see disruption. Now let me just ask this question. How many of us here are using a Nokia phone? Wow. Oh, I have one person. How many of you are using an Android-based smartphone? How many of us are using the premium people, iOS? Okay, I like that. And see, sometimes when you say those using iOS, they don't. There is some premium to it, right? So I'll use the Nokia story to tell you something about business disruption. And the fact that as organization and as project management leaders, we need to take critical look at what the changes that are going on in our environment, and we'll show you what happened. Now, this is a theory of disruption, as propounded by Clayton Christensen. Now, what he realized was that across markets, when businesses are able to get a niche of the market, they begin to move to higher levels of taste. You know, as humans, we acquire inordinate taste as we move on in life. Now, as they acquire the taste, they forget to recognize that there is not equity in financial assets. All right? So they begin to go up. So you can see the incumbents, the red trajectory that is going up. They keep going up, adding features. Every iOS update comes with a new feature. Those who can afford it can continue to buy. Those of us who can't afford keep falling off. Then we turn from iOS, then we come to Samsung, then we come into Oppo, then we'll be declining. But what these businesses fail to realize that with time, they narrow their customer niche. So at the end of the day, there are a group of business people called the new entrants. They are the disruptors. They look at the things that the high-end customers cannot afford and then provide that basic functionality. So you can understand how Samsung was able to overtake Apple in terms of global shipment of smartphones. You can now understand how HTC fell off. You can understand how today Xiaomi, how many of us know the Xiaomi brand? Xiaomi overtook Apple for the first time this year in smartphone shipment. Some people say due to COVID and because Apple phones are high-end, there's money crunch and people can afford it. So now people are going in more for more of this smartphone. So Christensen says that because big market players look out for premium service for their customers, they forget to analyze their market to know that some of their customers are falling off. And these new entrants pick up these customers and they gain momentum. With time, they are able to challenge the big stream market like Samsung and Xiaomi did. And then you see that now the big players become fighting for their lives. So that's the whole theory about disruption. Let me show you this. I'm sure you are familiar with this. What happened? Post office. Anybody works in the post office? How many of us have CDs in their vehicles? Or still use CDs, CD drives? Oh, you still use it? That's a good one. Walkman. How many of us have cassette Walkman? Wow. How many of us go and rent video? Go and rent music or go and rent videos nowadays? What happened? You know, as much as we tell these stories, these are big companies that existed in the early 90s, 80s. I mean, Kodak. Whoever thought Kodak? You had all these red rooms. People go and take photography. They go into a red room. They bring a nice printout. Kodak films and things were selling. Now, what happened to Kodak? Canon. All right. So, what happened? Now, there's a sad picture I'm going to show you. This is what the CEO of Nokia said. We did nothing wrong. But we lost out anyway. Is it true that they did nothing wrong? Let's see. This is what they did wrong. Look at the projections. At the time that iOS and Android started picking up somewhere in the early 2007, 2008, Nokia were the industry big players. In fact, who never owned a Nokia phone? A, C, M, all of those series. We had it. We loved the tone so much. But what happened to Nokia? Look at it. So something happened. The CEO got it wrong. The company did not understand the changes that were going on in terms of digital advancement and how the OS system changed smartphone business. So Nokia was so proud. We had our Symbian OS. Why should we go and join Android? Why should we go to iOS? Then Android started thinking, oh, open source. Oh, they were virus infected. Who wants a virus phone? Gradually, they started picking up. Look at the shipments. Next time, what happened to Nokia? They were gone. So what happened? Would we say that they didn't think outside the box at the time? These businesses, the post offices, the Nokia. I wouldn't say post office has collapsed, but we understand that now nobody goes to the post office anyway. Possibly you go to the post office to pick a parcel from the international delivery or maybe something. Possibly they are, they are also trying to use technology to come up by doing deliveries and all of that. But nobody goes to the post office. We all send emails. We all send WhatsApp messages. Okay, so this is that they didn't think outside the box. Did they stay in their comfort zones? Did they fail to jump up to technology? Or they were late in discovering that all of these things were happening in their business environment? Or were they slow to react? You see, today we learned something about how we have to keep pace, how we have to remain relevant in organizations. Those companies that fell off, were these what happened to them? We'll get to know. Now, this is the changes or the transitions from industries across the period. We are currently at where we call Industry 4.0. If you're a company and you don't know that this is where the industry in the world has gotten to, you are way, way behind. We are Industry 4.0 where now everything is about connectivity. So now people can, today they told us the story of a washing machine where they said she can tell if her things were done washing whilst looking at the app. Today we can respond to doorbells from our offices, those of you who use Ring systems. Today we can do so many things with connectivity, mobile money. I don't remember the last time I went to the bank. Maybe I was going to renew my Visa card. But because of mobile money, because of digitalization, and today her ladyship was trying to equate digitization to digitalization. And I think at the plenary session they explained it. There are two separate concepts. Digitization is just converting analog to digital. So anything that was analog before, your watch, your radio, you have to tune in now, you have to just type in the codes and then you have, that is digitization. Digitalization is a whole new concept now applying digital tools, system processes to improve work and make work more better and more efficient. So this is where we are in the cyberspace. And let's look at the waves of disruption. Look at the transition. Look at the transition. They mentioned some of the companies that existed. Music industry, cassette, CDs. My dad used to have this raft of CD players like this in the hall. If you didn't have some in your hall, that means you are not the latest guy. You understand? But today what is happening? iTunes, Google Play, and all of those is digital streaming. Today musicians don't have to really cry about copyright. Because once you just play their song, one on iTunes, they make $1 or something. So now things have changed so much that people are fall off. Look at print media. I wonder how today the likes of graphic and co are surviving. But well, they have digital versions now. Now everybody subscribes to HPR, New York Times, digital. Nobody buys the hard copy. Those of you buying the hard copies in the office, including mine. A time will come, we won't have enough trees to cut so we can print paper. And we are told to be environmentally conscious, so they will follow. Look at 2015, banking, healthcare. Healthcare is not left out. How many of us can access a doctor at home? How many of us? Today, those systems are very available, called telemedicine. There are people who can just call a doctor and they have their consultancy done. They don't need to walk to a hospital. There's biotech. There's so many changes and disruptions occurring everywhere. So in 2015, I wish the CEO of MTN was here. I was going to tell you a story, but I'll leave it there. So the telcos gradually are being disrupted. Retail, automation. Today, I know in US and in India, US and in parts of China and Norway, you could just call a cab from Accra to come and pick you driverless. All you need is connectivity and address. And the car just picks you and drops you at home. That is where we are getting to. I'll show you the picture of the Ghanaian taxi drivers. They were standing there like this. They were waiting for who? Passengers. When Uber came, they were crying. Good enough, a lot of them have jumped onto that wagon and are rolling with it. There are some taxi drivers who still bend forward looking for passengers. They have not moved on. By the time will come, they will not be relevant. Now look at 2020 plus. Now they say the year 2020 going, unfortunately the pandemic has hit. A lot of things have slowed. But from 2020 plus going, nobody is safe. No business is safe. No matter how you are not safe from disruption. So as I explained, let me just go on. So these are the areas defining the new markets. So Uber, Taxify, disrupting taxi business, smartphones, disrupting Nokia and other smartphones, WhatsApp, disrupting post offices, Facebook, Instagram, disrupting stores. How many of you know that Instagram has become a core platform for sales and retail? In fact, my wife gets almost everything from Instagram. I wonder, how do you buy this? Now, people sell so much on Instagram such that it has become the next sort of Amazon in Ghana. Everybody goes to Instagram to look for something to buy. Mobile money payments, Airbnb, my goodness. They don't own a single hotel, but they are the one of the top hotel businesses across the world. Today, people don't need to put up a hotel so they can get money from, tourism. If they have a house they are not using, they put it and list it on Airbnb. Somebody picks it, they get a hotel amount for 3 days, 4 weeks, something like that. Nokia decided to come back through Microsoft. Unfortunately, Microsoft said, look, we are a bigger business than smartphone business. So they had to follow. I know some of you had the new Nokia smartphone that we were running on Microsoft. Unfortunately, that OS could not be sustained, so before let's go. What was underlying all of this? Digital transformation. And that is the age we are in. Now let me go to the more substantive issue of the red and blue ocean. It sounds big, but there is nothing big about red and blue ocean. Okay? So red and blue. Red ocean means all the existing business, all the businesses that are existing today are called red ocean businesses. So if you are in a business that exists today, you are in the red ocean market. I'll show you some of their characteristics. Look at this. In red ocean market, there's fierce capital competition. There are businesses who say that people report them so that they will go out of business. We hear of fiber cuts, sabotages in the telecom company because of competition. We hear of banking sectors lowering their rates and loans so people can come. So everybody wants a share of the market, the financial market that's available. So basically it means the ocean is red. So people are biting each other, people are sabotaging each other, so they are infighting all over the markets. So the whole system is red. That's what we mean by red ocean. This is the blue side, newer markets. These are ones that they are yet to be on earth. So if you are here, just last 3 days, my company did a seminar called Innovation and Creativity Seminar. They want the company staff to come up with innovation ideas in the energy sector because I work in the power sector in ECG. They've realized that gradually they are also becoming disrupted with renewable energies. Because today big businesses are doing solar for hotels. Most of total filling stations are running offline. They are not connected to the grid. They are running solely on solar because they can have enough batteries to do the small electrical work to do at the fuel station. They have market monopoly, so that there is nobody chasing them for their money or for their customers. And then they also create new demand. And because as human beings we have inordinate taste for new things, once a new thing comes, we jump on. So that is basically the concept of red and blue ocean. A few characteristics are given. So red oceans are all the industries that exist today. For them, data is available. And today we learn about data analytics. When your market is available, people can analyze it. People can use tools to analyze your successes and your areas you are performing so that they can create competition there. Look at the offspring of banks. There are banks everywhere. You wonder how they survive. Some of them have looked at how people are feeling and have put up on it and they are surviving. So the data of your business is available. So don't think you are untouchable. Once data about your business is available, they will analyze it and they will come for you to compete. Now in this market, there is no data. Where there is no data, you can't analyze anything. So when people with innovative ideas through digital transformation are able to come up with new ideas, they are able to come up with things where people do not have any information, so they can't compete. So that is the blue ocean market that I spoke about. Because of time, I think I'll just skip this slide. Now let's look at this. So this is what the red ocean people do. They focus on rivals within the industry. So telecom to telecom. Recently we realized that Greco, anybody works in Greco here? They want to steal ECG customers. They are not here so I can see it. They want to steal ECG customers. Quote and unquote, please. Just quote and unquote for illustration. So they go to ECG areas where customers pay huge or demand huge energy and give them the energy direct. Why? They talk of ECG's inefficiencies, unreliabilities, instabilities. Are we unstable? ECG. They are doing well. Okay, so they take advantage of the weaknesses in other institutions and capitalize on it to disrupt them, or more or less take a chunk of their customers. They focus on competitive position within a strategic group. They focus on better serving the buyer group. So they are looking at their customers that are loyal to them and they focus on them. They forget that they will get in more customers if they look at other market segments. They focus on price performance within their functional slash emotional orientation of the industry. So they are looking at price for price comparison among the industries. And usually what happens is that they just reduce prices by margin so people can come there. I know people who have just ported their numbers from one telecom company to the other because of data rates. I know people who have just moved from a bank to another bank because when they go to one bank, they queue. When they go to another bank, they don't queue. I know people who go to a certain store because when they go, there's flexibility on how they are served and that. So all of these things allow people to be competitive. And you look at the blue ocean side. They look across strategic groups. So you see, at the blue ocean, the ocean is so wide and on earth and on tap. So there are so many opportunities for them to look at it and maximize using technology. And then they look across, so they look across what is just readily available and then think at the next level. Today, one of the presentations, we were told that we should look at what is coming to disrupt us so we move away. So in a business environment, because nobody is safe, examine and evaluate the markets that are competitors to you and see how best you can jump even before they decide to disrupt. That is what this is talking to us about. Now look at the dynamism. Look at the attributes of red and blue ocean markets. One is looking at competition, brutal, price-driven. One is looking at limited market, constrained boundaries. This is the boundary of banking. This is the boundary of insurance, boundary of power. They have boundaries. But look at the side here. The side here is the next generation. The side here is the next level of business. We are looking at innovation. We are looking at the big picture. Today, Taka told us that we have to have a big picture of every idea that we have. We are looking at game-changing strategies. They are looking at new products. They are looking at customers that do not even exist now and trying to design future projects for them. So the question I ask anybody here in any business is, where do you want to fish? Where do you want your market to be in the next 20, 30 years? Is this where the sea is already red with sharks? Or is this where, there's enough ideas available so you have enough time to explore? If you're a business CEO here, you have to answer that question for yourself. Where do you want your business to exist? Now the core mandate of this presentation is to let us know that as project managers, we have a big role to play in all of these dynamics. Look at the traditional methods. Now there's a study by McKinsey that says that the routine traditional role of project manager just doesn't cut it anymore. So your knowledge in project management areas, those of you are learning, that knowledge you are gaining, that knowledge in project management processes, scheduling, the tools and techniques, requirements gathering, scoping, project being on course, deliverables, communication. Look, it doesn't cut anymore. It's enough to have it. I'm not saying don't have it. Have that training. But a study has already been done and it says that it is not enough in the kind of changing environment that we are in. It's not enough. So what should we do? We need to transition. So all of us here, project managers in our own right, those of us here who write the PMP to become project managers, in our own right, we are tacticians. We are experts. I've intentionally color-coded that. It is red. Because that skill is not sustainable going forward. So what must we do? We must transition. We must become business strategists. Business strategists. And it doesn't come easy. Today, Taka said it's easier said than done, right? It's easier said than done. In the process, you need to acquire today's knowledge. Today's knowledge of AI. Today's knowledge of blockchain technology. Today's knowledge of digitalization, today's knowledge of artificial intelligence, today's knowledge of the things that are propelling the next business to the next level, so that when they need project managers, you are qualified. Otherwise, when you stay on this, your traditional expertise, project manager, scope, risk, scores, constraint, deliverables, it's not enough. And it will never be enough because we are moving at a faster pace of digitalization. Now look at the new role of the project manager. Look at him. Look at the project manager. It's unfortunately I've put this. If I was using the transition, you should have seen the picture well. Look at the current new role of the project manager. Look at all that he's doing. He's doing all of this. He's scanning the trends. Now the areas I've highlighted yellow is to let you know that they are the big new areas in our working environment. You are looking at the trends. So not just because you are making profits, you are okay. But you are looking at the trends to see what is beyond the red ocean. You are looking at data analytics. If you're a company today and you don't do analysis of your data, you'll be lost. Because all your decisions will be made based on wrong assumptions. You have the data. The unfortunate thing about business environment is that we have the data, we just gather them. Gather data. Give me the report. Give me the report. We never analyze it. We never see a bigger picture from it. Look at the new project manager. He is doing strategy thinking. If you do strategy, you do SWOT, you do PESTA, SWOT. If an organization, you know your weaknesses, your strengths, your threats, your opportunities, you should be able to propel yourself into the next level. Environmentally aware. Today, it's not just enough to do just any project, but you should look at the impact of your project on the environment. Otherwise, regulators will come for you. Now, those two things in red, they are still relevant today, but those are the areas that is difficult for us to do as project managers. Change, culture. Now, culture is one of the difficult things we have in our world. Mr. Drucker says that if you have a bad culture, your culture will eat what? Your strategy for breakfast. So, if you have all the big things, but yet the people who are supposed to help you build these things have a bad attitude towards the work, you'll destroy the strategy. Risk. There are so many dynamisms in risk management, but I'll leave it there because of time. New managers are thinking different. Anytime I see the Apple logo with the design, thinking different, and now begin to know how the founders of Apple thought way before how Apple is today. Now Apple is over a $3 trillion company. We are thinking different. How are we thinking different as employees? How are we thinking different as project managers in our project environment? So the new role of the project manager is looking at these 4 key areas. The new project manager is strategic and business minded. So to him, anything that will propel his business to the next level is interested. He wants to evaluate it. He wants to assess it to see how best he can use for the benefit of the company. He's making use of technology. Today we say that technology is difficult to use, but it's accessible. Sometimes I wonder how Africa can ever catch up to the way technology is advancing. I see Chinese building a 300 miles per hour speed trains, and we don't have even a real line from here to Cote d'Ivoire or from here to Togo. As a country, as a continent, it is so pathetic. And sometimes the underlying base of all of this is that we don't have visionary leaders who can lead and influence people to reach the common goal we all want. All of us know how we want Ghana to be. All of us know how we want Africa to be. But what are we doing towards it our small way? So today, Taka taught us that we need to first examine ourselves and be the change that we want. So in our own small way, any role we have to play is important. Now look at the innovation. Once again, Peter Drucker said, innovate or die. As an organization, if you don't innovate, you die off. Like the many others that have died off, that is what will happen to you. So we need to be innovative in our thinking, creative in the solutions and the tools we bring forward in organizations so we can improve our business. And I cannot emphasize on this enough. Data analytics, very, very important. Very, very, those of you who have the opportunity of reviewing structures in the organization, this is one of the departments you need to have in the organization. Data analytics. Because, like I said, we gather so much data, we don't analyze it. Sensors. We will pick every information about every Ghanaian, but we are the same. We pick every information about everything in this country, but systems are not changing. What are we using the data for? We need to analyze them and then improve upon our thought. So this is how the project manager goes through the wave of transformation, digital transformation. So he needs to know what the proposition is of the customer. You need to understand your customer's touch point, his proposition. You need to modify your business digitally. You need to do a top line growth. Now today, if you are a business and you don't have one form of digitalization to your business, it's like you are falling off. Thank God my company brought an app. How many of us uses the ECG app to buy units? Thank you very much. God bless you. I thought I was going to praise you. Okay, please. Let's not make the presentation about ECG mobile. Okay, but at least, you see, wait. At least we have tried. I know there are some people. Wait. There are some people who can use it and it's successful for them. I know there are challenges. So when there are challenges, we improve. Okay? So we improve. We keep on improving as a company. And we improve. Look, Rome was not built in a day. That doesn't mean I'm saying my company should draw back. We should seek to improve upon it and ensure inclusiveness. Because I know that there are some people whose meters are not compatible, they need to join us. We improve, and then we go there. So you need to also digitize your process. Once again, my company is doing an ERP. ERP, we are sending all forms of processes digital so we can improve. And then what leads to it, we get performance in our management. So now the ocean, because of time, I'll just tell you about the blue ocean strategies. So as a business, you should look at uncontested market spaces. You should look at making a competition to your business irrelevant so that you stay sustainable. You need to create and capture new demand. And you need to break the value chain, of course. I'm sure you get these slides, so when you get them, be able to read it, to be able to know how to analyze it and assess it. But the big challenge I'm throwing to all of us is that we need to move out of our comfort zone. Look at the future. Don't move and come here. It's not enough. You are still restricted. You are in a boundary space. Go into the ocean. Move out of the comfort zone and go beyond boundaries. I like the words usually women of today use. They want to shatter glass ceilings. So the sky is the limit. Some people say the sky is not even the limit. They want to go across the galaxy. I like that. That is what we should bring for our business. Now, the strategy is that as project manager, you should think outside the box. That means you should be innovating, you should create a new value chain. Data analytics, I've never said it anymore. You should think different. More importantly, we should embrace change because change is here through digitalization. And we should be the change. That is, we should be the leaders as project managers that lead that change. All organizations execute the objectives through projects. And these projects are led by project managers. Few talent today to build upon your skills so you can be there. What I want you to take away from this presentation is this. My presentation has been changed a little bit. What I want to take away is that business disruptions are inevitable. They are across the world and they are coming for you. As a project manager, you have to be the leader who innovates in the business so you can move from where the competition is relatively competitive to where there is less competition. Likewise, project managers, we must be ready and resourced to do this and to lead this transition. And underlying all of these is advancement in business digitalization. Thank you very much.
Thank you for this wonderful presentation. Please, let's give him a round of applause. So please, questions?
Yeah, thank you very much for a wonderful presentation. I wanted to find out this as a project manager. We've taken so much from here. We want to be the innovators, right? But you realize that your management is sleeping, right? Not that they are sleeping. They are making profit and they are okay, right? You are probably thinking of abnormal profits. They are okay, right? How do you innovate around this too?
Thank you, Jonathan. I think because of time, we can take one or two, then so we end it. Because I know we don't have enough time. If that's the only question, I can just
Question.
All right. My name is Kojo. I wanted to find out: is there not an orange or yellow ocean?
Something in between, right?
Yes. The reason is that industries or companies don't really move from red ocean to blue ocean or blue. I think they mix it up a bit. So they have departments and segments who look into the blue ocean areas, and then the core business still stays with the red ocean. So that is just what I want to find out. There is no orange or yellow ocean. Thank you.
Thank you, Gopi.
Thank you very much. My name is Emmanuel. This one is not personal, but I just want to know. We put ECG in blue ocean.
You said I put ECG in blue ocean. Or did I? We are nowhere near blue ocean.
But I saw you kept referring to the blue as ECG.
Okay, I'll answer that. Is that your question?
Yes, because when I look at the blue ocean, you said markets that do not exist and cannot be analyzed.
Yes.
And I know you exist.
Yes.
Actually, when you can say,
Oh, really? Did I? Okay, I'll answer that. Okay.
So you can please classify where is ECG?
Sure. Okay, so I think we have some three questions. That's a wonderful one. Let me start with yours. ECG is nowhere near blue chip company. I'm saying this because I said issue about monopoly. Look, ECG, we don't have market monopoly. Those of you who understand the power sector, we are facing straight competition from renewable energy companies. People, as well as even distributed generation companies. Like I said, there are some people who are not even on the grid. There are even some people who are generating their power and injecting into the ECG grid. Of course, we have the highest mix, about 4 million customers. We don't think any of those renewable energies has that number of customers. But we are not letting our guards down. We are not there yet. Possibly we are, look, recently ECG launched what we call the EV charging stations in the collaboration with the private sector. We know EVs are coming, EVs are electric vehicles. So we are the industry players in terms of power distribution. We want to be the one to supply power to those cars. So we are innovating, you understand? But we are not there yet. That's what I can guarantee you. But we are not sitting down.
You are a monopoly.
We are not a monopoly. How would you say we are a monopoly when we have people, we know where they supply panels, total filling station going up the grade and all of that? We are not. Maybe we are a certain percentage monopoly, not you. Jonathan, your question. Okay, then I come to Kujo, right? Jonathan, look, then you see, today you asked a similar question of Taka, right? She told you that, look, if we allow our leaders to beat us down to how we can think innovatively or creatively, then we must as well not, be interested in where our company goes. Somebody tells me that, but I take my salary anyway. If my top management are sleeping because you are making profit, why do I care? But like I said, look at Nokia then. Nokia were making big profits. Where are they now? A time will come, they will make that profit. And at that time, if that is the time you start to be creative and innovative, you will have been behind time. So that's what I'm saying.
Jonathan, for us, maybe as employees, for this matter, we must also realize that you are in such an environment, and then you must be scaling to make yourself into the blue ocean. So while the organization may not be realizing that the industry is, so I work in the post office, or I work in Kodak, I realize this is where we are going. You must then possibly be looking at scaling towards where the digital industry is going. So we may not necessarily be able to do much, especially, and we can cite examples of industries. But I think for us as project managers, as employees, or as people within the environment, we must then be scaling towards, working towards where the industry is headed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the contribution. Thank you.
Thank you very much, our distinguished